This is a video about how to manipulate JavaScript. It's not going to be an actual hacking tutorial. Most of this stuff is going to be client-side rendered. So anything that we change on our client side is only going to affect the client side. But because we're actually going to be having a look at Telegram games, whatever our score is on the client side, we actually submit that to the service, and then the high score actually gets updated that way. But that is going to be a boring way to do it. You can probably do that with almost any of these games. It's probably going to be about the most effective method of getting a high score, but that would actually be very boring. We don't want to just say, submit a new high score, okay cool, move on to the next one, submit new high score. It's going to be very boring. But what I've noticed is all of these games seem to be coded by different people, which actually makes it perfect, because then it's almost a new challenge in every one of these games. So who we can actually start with at the moment over here, you can see with GameBot, I quite like this because these three actually have very different, I would say almost difficulty levels, where Corsairs is by far the easiest. Math Battle is then going to be the second easiest, and then Lumberjack is going to be the hardest. When I say the difficulty, I just mean how hard it is actually going to be, or how long it takes to really have a look through the code to actually find what we're trying to look for and try and manipulate from there. So we can actually start with Math Battle, with Corsairs actually. So I've already actually tried a video recording, but my sound is incredibly soft, which I'm very sorry for, so I'm trying to have it a little bit louder now, but it's probably still not quite as loud as we want. But anyway, hopefully this doesn't matter too much. You can just put up the sound. So if we try to play Corsairs, okay, as you can see my score is 350. So now we want to update the score. We want to get something higher. So if I press F12 and I move on to the Sources tab, and then we're having a look at the JavaScript. So it's going to be under here, under Corsairs, the JavaScript file. Okay, this is what we already have. Ignore that we already looked. So now let's pretend we have, or let me pretend I have no idea what I'm looking for, just to give you an idea of how we actually find things. So when we actually play, we're going to start off, and then we're just going to go like left, right. Okay, 9 or 7. So now how do we actually find? So let's hope we're going to be lucky, because this often happens. So you scored 7. We would assume that that is actually the score, but just to confirm, the score value, score number, everything has to do with score. So you know what, let's have a look, see if we can find something that has the word score in. So if we control F, we're going to have a look for score, and then okay, here we go. So as you can see, we're starting with the class name is equal to result score. We don't want classes. This is inner HTML. We don't want inner HTML, but the inner HTML is equal to score. Okay, very peculiar. So obviously a score is the variable that we actually want. And if you also notice, none of this stuff has gone through, I can't remember the name of it, I think it's obfuscate or something like that, where it changes all these variable names to mean to be incredibly hard to interpret. But in this case, it doesn't look like it's even gone through that. In fact, they haven't even changed it to be all on one single line for more effective transfers and whatnot. So anyway, so we're looking for score. So here row score is less than, okay, if the row score is less than your score. So is score actually what we're looking for? Is that where the 7 comes in? Let's just confirm. Let's see, we only have, okay, we have about 68 cases of score. Then there's also user score. KSN score is a function, so what is user score and what is normal score? Let's have a look. If we go right to the beginning, assuming that this doesn't lag too much, okay, then we have a look. Okay, this is where it seems to be we don't know what. We don't care. This looks like something to do with sound. This is just something, no idea. But here's a whole bunch of variables. Okay, these are all global variables. It's not even in any function or anything. And here's our user score and score. So this seems incredibly easy to do. So let's just find out score. What is score? Score is 7. That is actually the 7 that we got over here. And user score. User score. Seriously? User score is 350. Okay, so 350, is that my high score? Let's just try again. Okay, now score 12. My user score is still 350. So that's obviously what my current user's highest score is 350. And my current score is 12. So it seems like, okay, the user score is probably going to update when we update our normal score. This is just an assumption that we're going on. Because, I mean, if you change the user score to be 5,000, we're not sure if that's actually going to update the actual score. Whereas if our score is higher, we know it should update this. So let's just try reset. So at the moment, if we try just have score, our score is 0. That is correct. It is supposed to be 0. So at the moment, the high score is 350. So let's have 356 as our current score. Okay. Score equal to 356. And now if we just press play, it's still gathering the score because it's still running there. But look at that, 368 now, and I am on top of the logs. So was it that easy to actually get a high score? And 368, yes it was. This is now on Telegram. We have a new high score. It's that is why Corsairs is by far the easiest one to do. And maybe I'll show you Math Battle next. Thank you for watching.